Basic niche. Nawin, niche, basic. Anyway. A little bit of Nanabush just to get us started. Alright. Bonjour class. This is a bit of a surprise. This was a story I really wanted to share with you, but I couldn't find it online. I was really surprised by that, actually. So I decided that since I am asking all of you to share and to practice your storytelling skills, I would also share some of my skills, and all y'all can be the judge of them, I guess, as we go through. So this story, again, it's one of my favorites. It's a trickster story, and it was given to me by my mother. I can't even remember exactly when I was first told this story. It's been with me for so long. And yeah, I'm just excited to share it with you. It's called, well, it has a couple different names. So I know it as Nanabush and the Three Feathers, but I have seen it in other places, written down and told and shared in different ways. I've seen it called How the Birch Bark Got Its Marks, as well as Nanabush and the Thunderers. Ooh. And we have a bit of a Beneshi, a raven friend here, who's, I think he's been chasing an eagle, so you might see that or hear that at least as we go through. All right, so this is how the story goes. So one day, Nanabush is fishing, and he's had a really good day of fishing. Lots of, different ones, big ones, fat ones, lots of fish to bring back to his grandmother, Nokomis. But just as he's leaving the lake, he's packing up all his stuff, he sees this chigagoon, this massive fish, just kind of jump out of the water and then dive back down. He's never seen this fish before, so he's very intrigued. He goes back home and he is working and cleaning the fish with his grandmother. They're getting all the food ready, some of it to smoke, some of it to cook right away. And he asks Nokomis about this chigagoon. And she knows what Nanabush is talking about. She says, yeah, it's a very big, great fish, but he lives very, very deep down in the lake. And so you don't see him very often. He only comes up every so often just to get a little bit of that sunshine and go back into the waters. So Nanabush is thinking about this for a bit. He really wants to get this fish. Like, that would be such a great feast. And so he asks his grandmother, like, how do you catch a fish like that? Like, how can I even get so deep to go and get this fish? And Nokomis says, well, you probably couldn't go that deep. You probably, you couldn't really use a rod or nets or a spear even, because it's just so deep. And the only way you could really get this fish is that when he comes up into the sunlight like that. But he's so quick. And so, as Nokomis is telling Nanabush about, the way this fish dives through the waters, he's thinking, okay, like, how can I get this fish? And Nokomis says, well, I think the best way would actually be bow and arrow. But your arrow would have to be super, super strong and very, very fast, because this fish is massive. He's got very hard scales. And again, he just like pops up and then he's gone again. So you only have one chance here and there. And so Nanabush is thinking again. He's like, all right, well, how do I make my arrows like these so strong and so fast I can catch this fish? Nokomis says, well, I mean, you could go and get some thunderbird feathers. Those would make it pretty fast and pretty strong. Of course, it's kind of a joke, but Nanabush being Nanabush, he's like, all right, I have my mission. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna find some thunderbirds so I can get their feathers. I can use those feathers for the fletching and the arrow. So next day he goes out, and of course he's a trickster, he's a shapeshifter. You see some thunderbirds flying overhead there, and he transforms into a waboose, a rabbit. And so he's just kind of being a rabbit, just doing rabbit things out in this meadow, hoping that he will get caught up by one of these thunderers, these Aadizookaanag. So day goes on, he's starting to get a little bit worried that maybe this plan's not going to work out. And then finally, this one massive, this huge thunderbird, he comes, sees him, and picks him up. So Nanabush is in the claws of this thunderbird, and the thunderbird takes him to the nest of where all his babies are. But these babies are pretty young. You know, they haven't really left the nest yet, so they don't really know what to do with food. So they're just kind of playing with them. They're kind of kicking them around and tossing them around and just having fun. And the father thunderbird, he leaves, goes to get more food. And so as he leaves, Nanabush changes back into a man, a boy, and he goes over to the birds. The birds are kind of like, oh my God, what the heck just happened here? He goes over and he plucks a feather, a tail feather, from each of the babies. And of course, I'm sure you can, you know, kind of guess that hurts. And so they're like, ow, 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 and they start screaming. They don't know what's going on. Their nest's been invaded by this weird creature that's stealing their feathers. And Nanabush knows as soon as those babies are crying that dad is going to hear and come back. And so he grabs as many as he can and he just gets out of the nest and he's like scrambling down the mountain, trying to get away from this nest and these thunderbirds, because he knows that if he gets caught by this thunderbird, it's going to be bad news. This thunderbird is so massive that as he's flying over, coming back to the nest to check on his babies, the wings just block out the sun. You can hear the thunder that his wings make. And so he knows he's close and he's just running, Nanabush. Running and running. And he's praying. He's like, oh my gosh, please somebody help me. Please, please, I need some cover. I need some protection from this thunderbird. He's gonna get me. And he sees some trees. He sees this like tree line, this forest. So he's running for it. Again, the sky is just getting dark and you can hear the thunder. It's so close. You know, anytime he might get struck by this thunderbird. But in the forest, Nanabush hears a voice. And he says, brother, come here. We'll protect you. We'll protect you. Just come here. And Nanabush is running. He's looking. He's trying to figure out who's talking to him. And who's talking to him is Wigwas, birch bark. So the birch trees are telling him, come, we'll protect you. So he runs over to this copse of birch, and there's a fallen birch on the ground there. And they say, go under there, hide, we'll protect you. So he does, and he scrambles underneath there. The thunderbird swoops in, tries to get him, and he starts scratching and scratching and scratching at these birch bark, trying to get at Nanabush. But the Wigwas, they keep their promise and they protect Nanabush. And eventually the thunderbird realizes he's scratching, he's getting tired out. He's just not going to get this guy. So he leaves. He goes back to his babies. Nanabush comes out from underneath the log and he says, Miigwech, thank you so much, Wigwas, thank you. If it wasn't for you, I would have been a snack for this thunderbird. And the Wigwas said, we heard you and we wanted to help you, and that's what we did. And Nanabush is just so grateful. And so he says, I want the people to remember you. I want people to remember what you did for me. And so he gave Wigwas, birch, a whole bunch of gifts so that we would always remember and we'd honor the birch bark, and that it'd always be a gift to us. And so some of the gifts that were given was these markings. And so you can see these markings. These are the thunderbird claws scraping away, trying to get that Nanabush. And so these are here so that we always remember what the birch did, how it kept its promise, how it protected Nanabush. Now the other gifts that Nanabush gave are some pretty interesting properties of birch. So for one, birch, because it's a protector of the people, this tree, this bark, where's my bark? Ah, here it is. So you've probably seen this, different kinds of birch, but it has all similar papery bark. So this bark, it will burn even when wet. And so as a protector of the people, it will offer up its skin. It will give us that heat when we're in the cold. Another gift of it, because of the properties of this birch bark, we'd make our baskets in different containers with it, and we keep our food in there because it actually slows down the decay of food. And so this was a natural preservative way of storing food so that we could keep it longer and make sure that everything was put to use in a good way. And so all these gifts were given to Wigwas to say thank you, and so that we would never forget how important this tree is. And so that's my story. You watch.